Welcome to the Pancake Podcast, the show that takes you on a journey through the layers of life's challenges, all the while savoring the simple pleasure of a perfectly cooked pancake. Your host, Jason Grissom, invites you to join him as he explores the complexities of our world, drawing inspiration from the undeniable truth that there are difficulties in everything except in eating pancakes. In each episode, we'll delve into thought-provoking conversations, stories of triumph over adversity, and expert insights that provide a fresh perspective on the hurdles we face. Just like flipping that pancake to achieve that perfect golden brown, we'll flip our perspectives on life's challenges, aiming to uncover the sweetness hidden within. From resilience to success, from moments of doubt to moments of clarity, we'll uncover the parallels between conquering life's obstacles and savoring the simplest joys. Together, we'll navigate the intricate flavors of our lives, always with a side of optimism and a sprinkle of inspiration. So, if you're hungry for thought-provoking discussions, if you're craving the motivation to tackle challenges head-on, and if you're ready to find joy in the midst of life's complexities, then this is the podcast for you. Get ready to indulge in insightful conversations, topped with a dash of wisdom and a generous serving of encouragement. This is the Pancake Podcast, and we can't wait to dive into the layers of life with you, one pancake and one challenge at a time. So grab your fork and your headphones, because the journey begins now. Let's flip the script on life's challenges and savor the delicious simplicity together, right here on the Pancake Podcast.
Welcome to this episode of the Pancake Podcast. We are excited and privileged to have Miss Lily Hooten. Lily is the daughter of Chuck Hooten, who has been a good friend of mine for many years. We probably go back about 25 years. Chuck is known for leading worship at large youth events and youth camps. As a matter of fact, as Lily and I were talking, he just finished up leading worship at the Man Church in Starkville, Mississippi. And so I've just recently gotten to know Lily. I've known about her for many years because I've watched her dad post pictures on social media as she is growing up into the young woman that she is today. And back in January, we had Chuck and Lily come over, and her sister come over and lead worship and do teaching for a winter camp that we did in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. The Hootens reside in Knoxville, but currently, as of this interview, Miss Lily is suffering at the beach with her family and is getting ready next week to head down to the Dominican Republic to lead worship for a missions college student. So, Miss Lily, welcome to the Pancake Podcast. We are so glad to have you here today.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here. Can't wait.
All right. Well, Miss Lily, we always start our podcast by asking our guests to share their faith story. So can you tell us your faith story?
Yeah, for sure. So I, like you said, grew up with parents that were in ministry. My mom and my dad were both in ministry. My mom did college stuff, and my dad led worship, kind of pastoral vibe stuff. So I grew up in the church, went to church every Sunday, every Wednesday. I was kind of there 24/7 because my dad was always at a church. So I literally grew up in the church all the time, was always at a church, and had heard about who Jesus was growing up. And when I was 7, I decided to get baptized and kind of accept that Christ was real, that he was a real person, that he existed, was kind of what I decided. I was like, okay, I can believe in this. Got baptized when I was 7. And then around the age of 9, we moved from Birmingham, Alabama to Knoxville. And around the age of 10, I had my first panic attack. I started struggling with really bad anxiety. and kind of like at the age of 10, just assumed that God didn't love me. I was like, well, if I have anxiety, God doesn't love me. Everybody at church seems to be doing great, but I have anxiety, so I guess that means that God doesn't love me. He's forgotten about me. And then at the age of 12, I had one of my first depressive episodes. And that just validated to me even more that God didn't love me. I was like, okay, God forgot about me. Definitely doesn't love me. And I also thought I had done something wrong. I thought that because I was a sinner, that God was punishing me constantly because I couldn't be perfect. And then when I started high school, I started having suicidal thoughts, constantly having depressive episodes, panic attacks. I was always anxious, always. I don't remember a time in high school when I was just peace. Like I had complete and total peace. And my junior year of high school was definitely when it got the worst. My suicidal thoughts got really serious. My anxiety got really serious. My depression got really serious. And I remember I was sitting in my bed one night. And I was just so mad at God. I was so frustrated, and I didn't understand why I was struggling with this anxiety and depression, and why I felt things so deeply, because I felt those emotions so deeply. I felt them at these crazy extremes. And I I felt like I needed to pray. And I hadn't prayed since I was 10 for myself. Like I just hadn't done it. And so I was sitting in my bed, and I kind of just started talking to God, and I was upset. I was like, God, like why don't you love me? Like this doesn't make any sense. I've walked through all this, and I gave my life to you. So why am I struggling? Why am I suffering like this? And I just heard God speak to me, I love you. I just heard it over and over again. I love you. I love you. I love you. And I was sitting in my bed. I just started crying because for a long time I just thought that God didn't love me. And I thought they didn't care about me from a young age. I was little, and I thought that. So that was ingrained into my brain. It was ingrained into my heart. I just assumed that God didn't know me. And then I heard, I know you and I love you. And I heard it so clearly. And people ask me all the time, like, what does the voice of God sound like? And it was just to me, it was like somebody was speaking to me. It was a voice. Like I heard a voice tell me, I love you. I know you. And I just started praying even more. I was like, well, God, why did you forsake me? Why did you leave me? And I just heard, I didn't turn my face from you. You turned your face from me. Like I was always sitting ready for you to run back to my arms, but you kept running the other direction. Like um, the prodigal son. Like I wanted to run away. I wanted to do my own thing. And God was just waiting with open arms for me to come home. And so that night, I just decided that I was going to choose Jesus. I wasn't going to choose anything else. I was just going to choose Jesus. And I assumed, I was like, okay, sweet. Now my anxiety is going to go away. Now we're going to be totally fine. Everything's going to be great. And the next week, I had another panic attack. And I was so confused. I was like, God, we just had this whole moment where you said you love me and you're going to give me peace. And I just had a panic attack. And I kept having panic attacks, continued to struggle with anxiety. But my senior year, I remember I was praying again. I was like, I never walked away. I was like, I'm going to stay with you, Jesus. Even though I have this, I'm going to stay with you. And my senior year, I just, God started teaching me the beauty that is suffering and the beauty that is our testimony, and how God doesn't love suffering, but he can use it for his good. Like he can take what the enemy means for evil and he can use it for his good. And so I would say where I'm at today, I'm a freshman dropout of college. I went to college for a semester and then dropped out. So my senior year was last year. That was all happening last year. And this year, like I'm just at this spot of like I still struggle with this anxiety in a serious way, but I'm just chasing Jesus, and I just want my eyes to be completely fixed on Jesus. I'm a musician, so I've been writing songs recently about this idea of following Jesus, this idea of brokenness and how shame is beautiful and how God uses it for his glory. So yeah, I'm really just like I'm chasing Jesus. And I know that just because I'm chasing Jesus doesn't mean that the things of this world aren't going to be within me, that I won't feel things. yeah.
Yeah, you know, I was scrolling through your Instagram page. Just by the way, if you want to hear some of Lily's music, we will definitely put links in our show notes to her music that you can find on iTunes.